My name is Associate Professor Laura Forrest. I'm a genetic counsellor and a Senior Research Fellow. So I work as both a clinician and a researcher here at Peter Mac, and I work in the Parkville Familial Cancer Centre. I pursued my career in STEM really for the love of genetics. So from a very young age, when I was at secondary school and I first did biology, it just grabbed me and I really enjoyed all of the genetic side of things. I pursued that through my undergraduate degree of science, majoring in genetics, before I became a genetic counsellor, and a PhD followed after that. So it's always been an interest and a passion, and it keeps me going. It's what gets me out of bed in the morning and coming into work. I have had various female mentors that have really punctuated my educational and my career development throughout my whole life. So the first person who really inspired me was my biology teacher at high school. The genetics that she taught us was fascinating, and she was such an amazing teacher and really spoke to the need for good quality science teachers, particularly women, to inspire the next generation. And then throughout my career, my first cousin once removed, so we'll just call her my auntie, Susan Forrest, was a group leader at the Murdoch Children's Research Institute, and she got me really interested in genetics research, and she mentored me through my undergraduate and through my postgraduate degree. She ended up being the director of the Australian Genome Research Facility, and we've always kept in contact, and she's always been hugely supportive and understands the difficulties and the challenges faced by women in an academic career. And then when I started here at Peter Mac, I was employed initially as a research assistant by Marianne Young, who's the most senior and experienced genetic counsellor in Australia. She was headhunted to the Garvan, so left us here at Peter Mac. But she was the person who set me on my research journey as a genetic counsellor here at Peter Mac. And again, she's always had a huge role in supporting my career. I like to lead by example. As a woman in science, it's busy and it's challenging. I get pulled in a lot of different directions, but I'm honest about that, and I'm honest about that with my team, who are majority female. I can be very clear about my boundaries in terms of, like this week, my son is starting Year 7 tomorrow, and my daughter went back to school today for grade 4. So this week for me is all about being there for my kids while also trying to keep work and keep my research going. And that's how I set the example for my team in terms of, people say as women that you can't have everything, but I actually think you can do everything, but you have to just be very clear and understand that priorities change and shift week to week. And so it's a matter of focusing on what needs to be done right now, and what keeping things ticking over in the research setting. Sometimes next week, when my grants are due, that I'm still trying to write right now, there'll be a few late nights, but just getting everything done and setting that example and just keep working. I really think better recognition of the juggle that women, not all women, but a lot of women experience in terms of being parents and also pursuing an academic career. Every time you apply for a grant, you have to justify once again your opportunity, your relative opportunity compared to other people in the field, in terms of when did you graduate from your PhD, how many full-time equivalent years have you worked. And it takes time to craft those sections. It's repetitive. I think there just needs to be better recognition for women, a simpler way of doing it. I've heard people suggest that maybe it's just a 2-year full-time equivalent out of the workforce per child. It would be much simpler. But overall, we need grant assessors to recognise that to put aside any unconscious bias when it comes to assessing women's grant applications. Possibly they should be blinded. But overall, really, we're talking about societal change as well. The medical research workforce and the challenges we face are just one sector within the broader society, and women in general experience disparities when it comes to career progression, when it comes to salary. So we're not unique or alone in that sense. We need broader societal change. Persistence, resilience, do what you love. It's a really long road and it can be thankless at times. But if you're doing something that you find fascinating and interesting and you surround yourself with great mentors and people who support you. I work in a department, I really enjoy all of my colleagues and that's what keeps me coming back. So that's the type of advice I'd give myself. If you want to work in STEM, you've got to persist.